An ancient manuscript tells us of 4 horsemen who will ride across the planet Earth wreaking havoc as they go. They bring with them war, food shortages, and pestilences, or we could say pandemics. Now, whether you have a spiritual or religious inclination or not, doesn't really matter whether you've heard of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse or not. But there is a reality that humanity, for all the progress that it has made so far, has been constrained from achieving the greatness it desires because of these macro issues. In fact, over the last 50 years, astounding progress has been made in the areas of technology and communications. I can tell you when I was a kid, we didn't have laptops. But despite all of that, as we sit here today in the middle of this situation, it's true to say that humanity has never been so separate. It's astounding when you think about it. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. There is hope, of course. And we'd like to take an opportunity to thank the governments for the tremendous work they're doing in rolling out vaccine programs, and for sure the pharmaceutical companies who are working as fast as they can to produce billions of vaccines for this planet. But you see, the trouble is, this isn't the first time this has happened, and it won't be the last. If we go back to the First World War with the Spanish flu, and then we can come forward to MERS, SARS, H1N1, COVID, Ebola. And there will be others during the course of the next 10, 15, 20 years. This is a sad reality, and we need to learn from it. What is it that we've learned? Well, we've learned that business can bounce in and out of touch and no touch scenarios. We've learned that investing in preventing these things from happening is far more important than we ever thought it would be, because the cost of trying to deal with the outcome is just substantial in terms of government finances and lost business and lost companies. But there's something else that we've learned as well. I don't know about you, because I can't see you, but I can assure you that I'm a human, and I'm hoping that you are too. And there's a strange thing that as humans, it's a funny thing that we need. You know what it is? We need the human touch. When we look at engaging businesses for new services and new products, we want to be able to look in somebody's eye. We want to see if they have kind eyes. We want to know and feel their warmth and empathy. And for larger contracts, we want to sit down with a meal and a glass of wine and to learn who this person is, what their moral code is, what their hopes are for the future, how they treat their families. These things are part of business that has been done on this planet for the last 6,000 years. Now, let's make no mistake. We cannot ever properly replicate that experience in a digital environment. But we have to do something, because businesses that bounce in and out of touch-free and touchable mechanisms, we need to be able to work in a digital way at all times. So what's the world doing today? Well, it's gone crazy. Everybody and his brother is investing in digital transformation. There is so much demand that companies like mine are trying to do the best we can to achieve digital outcomes for our customers. But in the area of attracting new clients is where we see the most impact when it comes to a world in lockdown. What can we do? What I'd like to share with you for just a few minutes, the story of a pilot project that we achieved called GoBank, or Game on Banking. Game on Banking set as its objective for the financial sector the ability to be able to attract, to retain, and to grow a client base digitally using new techniques. We broke it down into 4 simple elements. The first is identification. And when we talk of identification for the finance sector, we were looking at 4 groups. Customers we already have that we feel should expand. Customers we're afraid might leave that we want to keep. Customers who have just left that we want to grab back again. and the general population of customers with those that have characteristics we would like to attract. The first element of the banking platform is the identification very tightly of a specific customer base that we want to use or want to talk to using predictive technologies such as artificial intelligence. The second element is then, but how do we engage those people in a way that is different? Well, we all like to play games. I'm sure that you might like to play football, whatever football might mean to you, whether you play that with your feet or your hands. But we're not able to play these physical games anymore. So online gaming has become important. And online gaming has a very important aspect in the attraction of customers for almost any industry. If we can create an engaging game that educates our audience about who we are, what we do, and how our services and products will benefit them, and encourage them to click, then that enables us to pull that customer in to our environment and our experience. So gaming is a second element of the GoBank platform. The third is then, how do we reach that audience? Well, that's easy, right? We all know how to do that. Everybody's doing it today, online, on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. You know, these platforms now are so crowded that even important conferences like this one here have to spend considerably more just to get the attention they require. It's impossible to see the wood for the trees. So how do we do that? Well, we have to engage in a different way by making our advertising unique and different and special links to the gaming. So with the pilot for GoBank, we advertised on Facebook and Instagram using our own artificial intelligence listings and their lookalike models. And we learned from that. We divided our pilot into two groups. It was a group of youngsters who were going to university and a group of parents who had youngsters going to university. So we advertised on LinkedIn, and we found on that platform that those that were parents were far easier to engage with. And then finally, we engaged with them on what is rapidly becoming a phenomenal means and the modern method of reaching the youth of today. And that was TikTok, ever more entering into the professional arena. And we found actually that for those of that demographic, the 18 to 25-year-olds, that the engagement on TikTok using well-targeted adverts linked to gamification and using the artificial intelligence produced our very best results. These three elements of identification, of game, and of the marketing engine then need to be complemented with the final element, which is once we have the customer coming in because they're interested, at that point, they need to have a seamless means by which we onboard them into our organization. And that onboarding platform today can be done using many modern techniques. Gone are the days when people want to or have any desire to print off documents, to put them in an envelope and to post them. And of course, we can't have them come in. So modern means of being able to identify people online are incorporated into many onboarding platforms, respecting the rules for KYC or Know Your Customer and the rules for anti-money laundering, AML, and the final beneficiary. These four elements come together to form the GoBank pilot platform, which we're learning from, which we're beginning to see now how people engage, which we're learning about with the games. So, and thank you all very much for joining us today for this session. If you'd like to know more, give us a shout.